I'm Jake.
And Alex,
Welcome back, my friend.
it's good to be back. It's been a couple of months.
Yeah, busy start to the year for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And today, the first video we're going to react to is The Unusual Suspect's very first movie review that he ever did. He's an old favorite here on the channel, and this is his review of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, as they call it over in England.
Yep. Really timely because I just rewatched this myself with my 5-year-olds, and they absolutely loved it.
Good to hear. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, read all the books as a kid, saw the movies in theater, I believe. I don't know if I missed one, but yeah, I went to see all of them, enjoyed everyone except the Half-Blood Prince, but that's a story for another day. And The Usual Suspect, reacted to a bunch of his stuff over the years, and he's actually said that he's not that fond of his early reviews, particularly this one.
Looks like a different person entirely.
Yeah, and he says that you can tell he wasn't yet adept at video making, but I think there's still some stuff to enjoy here, so this is your first viewing, and without further ado, let's watch and see how this motherfucker started.
Everybody's got to get started somewhere.
Hey guys and girls, welcome to my very first movie review. Ah yes, Harry Potter, the boy who lived, and also the boy who made a shitload of money. I mean, think about it. J.K. Rowling is now richer than the Queen of England, and all the film adaptations are amongst the highest grossing films of all time. Whether the franchise is deserving of this or not is debatable, but I've read the books and I thoroughly enjoyed them all. But what about the films? Are they even good movies? Well, to find out, I'm going to take a look at everyone in a series of videos to start with my new show. So, let's dive right into Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So the film starts off with a mysterious old man walking down the street. We see him putting out a few lights with his pocket lighter as he rendezvous with Professor McGonagall, but their meeting is disrupted when this happens.
Classic joke of his.
After we find out that Potter's scar has the movie's title cards in it, we skip to 10 years later and it's Potter's cousin Dudley's birthday. He's not too pleased with what he got, however.
How many are there?
36. Counted them myself.
36, but last year I had 37.
Okay, this kid has serious health issues. That's not to mention how scary that was. Don't believe me? Watch what happens when I put his reaction in slow motion. So we now join the family at the zoo.
Oh, it goes slow-mo.
Dudley's not too pleased here either.
You're from Bummer, aren't you? Mommy! Dad, come here! I can't believe it!
So Harry gets knocked over, gets angry, somehow makes the glass disappear, the snake escapes, and Dudley gets trapped inside. Now let's just say that you got trapped inside a glass window in a zoo. Your family is there, zoo officials will be available, and there's no snake even with you. So, knowing that, let's see how Aunt Petunia and Dudley react to this situation.
It's slow motion.
Those look pretty scary.
Where's he looking
Okay,
like?
next scene. Harry
Looking the other
receives a letter
direction.
addressed to him, but he quickly gets taken from him. But this doesn't stop Alice continuing to send countless letters. Sunday arrives, and after a bit of well-timed irony, no post on Sunday. Letters start swarming on the house. Okay, what is it with them screaming at everything? I mean, the worst that can happen is a paper cut.
Oh, it would be pretty freaky.
How? So after the shortest chase ever shot in film, followed by some bad dubbing,
Kid was going through
Uncle
puberty.
Vernon has an ingenious plan.
We're getting away! Far away! Where they can't find us! Daddy's gone mad, hasn't he?
Says you who so far in this movie has done the following things.
Yeah, he's a little asshole.
Yes, Dudley, Daddy has gone mad. you get out of the bed knowing that you both are
He
batshit
never
crazy.
was redeemed.
So we skip to God only knows where, and the family gets a visit from a scary giant of a man.
That scene was done well.
Sorry about that. Well, that was a little anticlimactic. At the end, it's might as well have just done this. Sorry about that. So after learning that Harry's a
He
prostitute...
likes the fart jokes.
Oh, sorry, wizard. Hagrid takes Harry to London to buy some school supplies. Is it just me, or does this seem a little... wrong? I mean, think about it. You've got a big fat hairy man who breaks down your own door, offers you cake, starts spouting nonsense about a fantasy world full of magic, and takes you into a dingy part of London whilst having conversations like this.
Can we find all this in London?
Ugh. Moving on. Harry and Hagrid enter the Wizarding Street of Diagon Alley, where Harry needs money.
Well, there's your money, Harry. Gringotts, Wizard Bank.
So Harry and Hagrid enter Gringotts, but Harry needs a key to get to his vault. Luckily, Hagrid has the key, but where does he keep it exactly?
Oh, wait a minute. Got it here somewhere. There's a little devil.
Really likes the
Now
flatulence.
this next bit makes me kind of glad this is a movie. Let's pretend for a moment that it's an audio book.
So it's true. I mean, do you really have the... Whoa. Bertie, what said you say to me?
The audiobook's pretty good, actually.
Like that. There's chocolate and peppermint.
There's pieces that didn't age as well, but overall it has, I think.
It's a good fantasy film.
Don't swear to get a bogey flavoured one once.
Okay, but we're all wondering if there's one that tastes like poo. Don't deny it, ever since you heard there was a bogey flavoured one, you've been wondering how far Bertie Bott would go.
It's a fair
So after Harry
question.
arrives at the school, we meet the Sorting Hat, who sorts all the students into their houses.
Wig.
What kind of cop is that? The whole point of a clap is so you can hear it. Can you hear this? No.
Right up the...
I can hear it.
Gryffindor!
Oh, so now you clap properly. Ew. Dirty old man.
I think you're seeing stuff that's not there, man.
I agree.
Turn this water into rum. What's Seamus trying to do to that glass of water?
Doy.
Turn this water into rum.
Turn it to vodka.
Turn it to rum.
Damn it.
Don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing for...
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wingardium-Leviosa.
Well done, dear.
I think we're going to need another feather over here, Professor. She's a nightmare, honestly. No wonder she hasn't got any friends. I think she heard you.
Next on the calendar, Halloween.
Where's Hermione?
She mastered the wrist action. Oh, wait, she's a girl. But no time for any of that. And Troll's on the loose. But Hermione doesn't know, so Harry and Ron rush to help.
I thought the trolls left the dungeon.
So the troll attacks, but Ron masters the wrist action and saves the day.
Is it dead? I don't think so.
The troll's very CGI-y.
Go to the next day, Harry's
Yeah.
got a gift. Sheesh, I wonder what this broomstick-shaped object could be.
Yeah.
Skip to the Quidditch match, as the Slytherin captain performs a move that will make any man cry out in pain.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sheesh, Hitler didn't sound that evil. So Harry catches the snitch and wins the Quidditch match, as we cut to Christmas, where Harry's got a present.
What is it? Some kind of cloak. My body's gone. I know what that is. That's an invisibility cloak. Invisible.
So Harry uses the cloak to rummage around the school and comes across a mirror where he sees his parents. Dumbledore pops out of nowhere to explain.
So then it shows us what we want. Whatever we want.
Yes. And it shows us nothing more or less than the deepest and most
desperate desires of our hearts.
Yeah, so whatever we want. Next up, a visit to Hagrid, where it turns out he's got a dragon egg, but it turns out someone's watching. All because of Malfoy's little snitching endeavour, the four are put into detention, with Hagrid as they enter the Forbidden Forest, find out what is killing the unicorns.
This is a questionable detention choice.
What is that?
Yes.
What we're here for. See that?
Oh, it's unicorn junk.
Unicorn blood, that is.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so after that gooey silver blood, they decide to split up. Unfortunately, Harry and Malfoy come across Voldemort, but Harry is saved by a friendly neighborhood centaur.
That thing that killed the unicorn. That was drinking his blood. That was Voldemort.
You know what is hidden in the school at this very moment, Mr. Potter?
The Philosopher's Stone.
Okay, but how the hell did Voldemort even know about the Philosopher's Stone? Hell, how the hell did this centaur know? What was it that Dumbledore said earlier?
I would trust Hagrid with my life.
Okay, so he trusts him with his life, so surely he can keep a secret, right?
Shouldn't have said that. I should have told you that. I should have told you that.
They didn't extend this joke to the sequels.
I should not have
Hogwarts
said that.
business.
Apparently not. So Snape's none the wiser as our heroes head down the trapdoor without a single instrument in hand. I don't know, maybe they were planning an armpit fart serenade, but lucky them.
He's snoring. He's put a spell on the harp. We have to move its paw. The harp. It stopped playing.
So the three head down the trapdoor to discover
This is a
Killer
freaky
Plant Life.
sequence.
Yeah.
Hermione tells them that they can break the plant's grasp by relaxing. Harry manages to escape.
He's not relaxing, is he? Apparently not.
So Ron's not listening, so it's up to Hermione to save the day.
Reading something in herbology.
As she tends to do.
Snare, devil, snare. It's deadly fun.
So shoot it with a gun. So next they've got to play a big game of chess with a handy 3 places available just for them. They're down to their last move.
You understand why, Harry? Once I make my move, the Queen will take me. Then you're free to check the King.
Hello, you are telling them your strategy. Don't make the move, you idiot. Call it off.
Right to
Oh, do it. Now you're gonna die. He's fine. The spear went through the
He's never in
horses
any
and they
danger. I
assholes.
agree.
So Harry checkmates the king as they go check on Ron.
Take care of Ron. Then go to the Owlery. Send a message to Dumbledore.
Question. How did they get out? I mean, you've got a trap door with no ladder or anything, with a giant killer dog on top of it. Is it possible? You're gonna die here.
Books.
Fair point.
And more important things. Friendship and bravery.
So Harry goes through to face Snape, but it turns out it was Quirrell all along.
Come here, Potter. Now!
Why don't we see this guy in more movies? So it turns out the Mirror of Erised has been moved down here, as we see the reflection of Harry giving him the Philosopher's Stone.
What is it? What do you see?
I'm shaking hands with Dumbledore. I've won the House Cup.
Lies. Tell the truth.
This scared the piss out of me as a kid.
Have you ever noticed that Harry doesn't use a single spell in the first movie? This is where a spell would come in handy, you know.
Yeah, I never noticed that until you pointed this
Now
out.
you're gonna die. But lucky Harry has barbecue hands as he cinches Quirrell's face off. The ghost of Voldemort escapes and Harry somehow wakes up in the hospital wing as Dumbledore explains what happened.
Love, Harry. Love.
I've been bested by the power of love.
Care Bears, motherfucker.
P.P.S. Slytherin has won the House Cup, but Dumbledore announces that Harry, Ron, and Hermione have gained extra points. And let's see, Hermione gets,
50 points.
Ron gets,
50 points.
Harry gets.
60 points.
And Neville got 10.
And with with an extra boost of points by Neville, Gryffindor win the House Cup. And with a cheery goodbye, our heroes board the Hogwarts Express and head home.
I'm not going home. Not really.
Okay, and with that, our credits roll. Whew. Well, that was the Philosopher's Stone. So, how does the first movie hold up after all these years? Well, the kids did a great job in my opinion, considering they never acted before. And for a movie that lasts 2 hours and 18 minutes, it does feel quite brisk, which is a good thing. It stays very faithful to the book, and the film's light-hearted feel really shines through and gives us an enjoyable run for all the family to enjoy. My final verdict, 4.5 Philosopher's Stones out of 5. Join me next time for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I shall see you then.
So that was The Unusual Suspects' very first movie review. I don't know the exact date, but I think it was probably over 10 years ago.
Yeah, especially since he said it had been a couple of years since the movie had come out.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. Reviews probably as old as the film was when you reviewed it. And what did you think of The Unusual Suspects' early years?
I think it was a good start. I think it was probably rough around the edges. You could definitely tell how he increases production over the years.
Yeah.
It was basically him just talking into a camera with it was just kind of blank behind him. He is very obsessed with the bodily humor at this particular stage, and there were definitely some funny moments due to that. Maybe it was a little bit overplayed, but I thought it was a good review overall and a good start for him.
I can definitely tell this is him in the beginning. Like, some jokes seem a little forced, maybe not as expressed as well as he's come to be. And as for the fart humor, which is something that he gets called out for a bit, and he admits he maybe overdoes it. He hasn't done it recently, but he admits he still kind of enjoys it just because the little kid part never went away. The first fart joke with Hagrid, when he comes in the house, goes, "Sorry about that." Okay, that was a little funny just because of the editing, but the other stuff that followed, that was a little unnecessary.
Yeah, and even though it wasn't my favorite Dumbledore, I mean, the pervert over and over again, it was a bit of a stretch. But
yeah, it was a bit of a stretch. I mean, you take just about any scene from a movie between an adult and a kid and edit a certain way, it can look a little questionable, but I don't know, not the worst, but definitely felt a little bit forced. The biggest flaw I find with some of his Harry Potter reviews, I mean, I love The Unusual Suspect, and I really enjoy the hell out of the Harry Potter stuff, but until the Deathly Hallows, all the Harry Potter reviews were like 15 minutes or less. And the Suspect is a guy where no time constraints are his best friend. And because they were so short in the early days, I found that he skipped over a bunch of stuff. And you could see that here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that he skipped over where like he didn't really show anything of Snape or Malfoy.
yeah,
And
except him peering in the window.
yeah, and he skipped Harry leaving, the Dursleys.
The Hogwarts Express at the beginning.
Yeah, and skipped over pretty much everything with Hermione, most of Ron. And I think a good thing to compare it to is I love the Harry Potter films, except Half-Blood Prince. But I will admit, a big flaw that the film franchise has is if you didn't read the books, a lot of stuff in the movies wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it was admirable how they followed the books, but it was also, I think, one of the bigger detractions of the movies. Like, they didn't want to leave anything out to the degree where some of the later movies became a little bit of a slugfest trying to get through every single plot point.
And sometimes they would reference stuff like dialogue-wise, exactly as it happened in the book, like in the latter films.
Yeah.
But they would be referencing stuff that happened in the earlier books, but was not in the earlier movies.
Right.
And the thing with The Suspect is, I like these reviews. They're fun. Like, they're funny, they're cute. They're early, cute beginner reviews. But he cut out so much from the movies that if you hadn't seen the movies, some of this reviewing would be a bit confusing.
Yeah. It is interesting to see, though, how he started developing his very distinctive style already in these reviews. You know, you can definitely tell that it's him, and you can see elements of what he does later already here. So,
I can definitely see his personality.
yeah.
And some of the side gags, like Hagrid crashing.
Mm-hmm.
He's done gags like that since, and a lot better and pretty good. And in his early years, yeah, he wore a hat, which he kind of discarded.
Mm.
His hair is now a lot shorter, but yeah, he still does Harry Potter. And a year or two ago, he started doing this new series called But I'm In It, where he doesn't review the movie, and you can tell this is early because he doesn't do the green screen trick. In his later reviews, for those who don't know, he has a thing where he uses green screen to insert himself or other things into the movie he's reviewing. And a few years ago, he did one on Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and he placed himself in the place of Harry, and it's a hilarious video, and I totally recommend checking it out. There's this real funny bit where when he sees Quirrell like reveal Voldemort on the back of his head, and he's like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
I have so many questions, like, how do you sleep at night without suffocating?
How do we not see it moving beforehand?
When Quirrell goes to the bathroom and farts, do you get a right mouthful?" Yeah, real fun. Sometimes he gets a little juvenile, but he makes it work most of the time. And plus, he's British. There's very little they can't accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, fun first time review from The Suspect, and glad you didn't think it was too terrible.
No, it was good. It was good to see. Always good to see anything Harry Potter.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this reaction. We'll be back soon, and great to have you back, man.
All right, good to be back.